Life transitions are terrifying, not because change is bad, but because we don't know what is on the other side. What if I leave and I regret it? What if the path isn't the right one? What if I take a leap and everything falls apart? Trusting the unknown is one of the hardest, but the most powerful things that you can do. In today's video, I'm sharing how to navigate change with confidence instead of with fear. So, why do we fear the unknown? Well, first and foremost, our mind craves certainty. When we don't know what's next, our brain automatically assumes the worst. So, it's kind of like the devil you know versus the devil you don't. So, even if you are in an environment that isn't healthy, isn't good, then it still might feel uncomfortable, scary to leave it. And we see this even within relationships. Abusive relationships. It's still what you know. How will I take care of myself? Especially if our self esteem is low and we don't trust ourselves to be able to take care of ourselves. We feel like we're dependent on other people, or we've been taught that we are dependent on other people, that we're not capable of taking care of ourselves. These are all things that would be terrifying. So even though a situation might be uncomfortable or straight out dysfunctional, it still might seem like change is not going to be safe for us. We'll assume the worst. I'll die if I'm on my own. I'll never be able to pay my bills. I won't be able to feed myself. Whatever it is, the mind craves certainty. When we see this in the way that the subconscious mind will constantly strive to prove itself right, it's not because it needs to be right. It's a sense of certainty and the illusion that uncertainty is safety. Just because something is familiar doesn't mean it's good for us. So when we take a look at the way the subconscious mind works, it's embedding and downloading all this information, a lot of it through our perception. So it is skewed. There is no absolutes. We're always looking at everything through our perception of our experience. And that can be through not only our physical senses, but also through the lens of our past experiences. And so we might be looking through that lens, and the mind goes, okay, well, when I was a young child, I had this experience going on. Say my parents are going through a divorce. And while they're going through that divorce, they're paying no attention to me. And maybe I get this belief that if I was a better daughter, then my dad wouldn't have left. So it must be my fault. Or maybe it's I'm not worthy of being loved because my parents aren't paying any attention to me. And even though that's a situational thing that happens, it embeds in, and have the beginning of subconscious beliefs. And it's the combination of these beliefs that creates our programming. And it's our programming that drives our thoughts. And so in this, if I have these subconscious beliefs that I'm not worthy and I'm losing that self-esteem, it's going to affect what I am going to be able to accomplish later on. So I might, if I believe I'm unworthy and I'm not smart enough to do these things, then it's going to be really hard for me to change my situation if it means that I need to believe in myself to be smart enough, strong enough, fast enough, healthy enough, worthy of these changes. And so with the mind craving its certainty, we need to understand that our brains are always in a need for safety. Security and safety is going to assume the worst to try and keep us alive. And then within that is the mistaking for comfort as being safe. And so it's like, well, I know what this is. So even though I'm in this abusive relationship, it's safer than the unknown, which even though that unknown could be a healthy relationship, we don't know what it is. And so the brain will do this. And then fear of failure keeps us stuck, but staying stuck is the real failure. And so often when we look at our fears, the most important thing that we can do is simply take a step. What's one thing that you can do? It's not that you're trying to just get traction to get going. It's that often just doing something will break us through that paralyzing fear that has us holding into the same situation. And so how do we trust the unknown without fear? Because that becomes our major obstacle. So the fear of failure keeping us stuck, it's the fear of the failure, the fear of the unknown. It's the fear that we're not going to be safe. These are all pieces that are coming into play. And so really the base of where we get stuck with is fear itself. So let's break that down. So fear, first and foremost, is the illusion of separation, that we can lose something, that we can be separated from something. Often, the things that we fear being separated from are things outside of ourselves. So we have a fear of losing our home, a fear of losing a relationship, a friendship, a spouse, fear of losing a parent's love or respect. So we have this illusion of separation. And often the question that we can ask is, and then what? And then what? So you quit your job and you lose your home, and then what? Well, then I have no home. Okay. And then what? Well, then I would have to find another home. Okay. And then what? You can see where we're going to go here. Well, then I would have to like live with people or find another home. Okay. And then you find another home, and then what? Well, then I have another home. So it's just this change that becomes the big issue. Here is the illusion of separation. And anger is often the defense, the ego's defense against fear. So I don't want to feel scared that I could lose my home, lose my money, lose my pride, lose my identity, lose the people I love. So I get angry, and anger is a defensive behavior to this illusion of fear. Now, why do I say it's an illusion? Because you're like probably going, well, Dawn, I could lose my house, so the illusion is true. So it's not an illusion. But the problem is the other question is, but what's your house giving you? And it would be a sense of safety, a sense of security. But the problem is any time that we are looking for safety and security outside of ourselves, just like if we're looking for our value to be outside of ourselves, then we've already misplaced where we're supposed to be looking. We spend the first 18 years or so figuring out, I am this body that, in my case, we call Dawn Elgin. And so I am this body, I'm this personality, I am this identity. And in that growing, in that evolving with our parents, ideally, our parents are teaching us that we are lovable. Here's Dawn. This is what her body looks like, and she's lovable in that body. This is her personality. These are her dreams. These are the things she loves to do. These are her gifts, and she's lovable through all of it. These are the things she's not good at, still lovable. And so a parent's job is to teach a child who they are, help them explore who they are, not really teach them, but explore it, and then teach them that they're lovable as they are in their own unique way. And then a child's supposed to leave home and go and explore with self-love. When a parent teaches a child how to love themselves, or teaches them that they're lovable, then the child learns how to love itself. And then within that love of self is safety and security. And then we go out and explore the world around us. But instead, what happens is we often learn how to people please. So be a good girl and I will love you. And if you're not a good girl, then I won't love you. Behave this way, become this kind of a person, have this job, attain these things, speak this way, behave this way, all of it. Ways to be conditioned to society, to please other people outside of ourselves, which causes a break in our integrity, intimacy. They're all inner jobs. And so the illusion where fear comes in, fear is the illusion of separation, and the illusion is actually being separated from yourself. All of us have unique ways of dealing with this separation. So when we're out of integrity with ourselves, you might, depending on your personality, be more likely to be in a fear state. You might be more likely to panic or be anxious. You might be more likely to be angry or irritated, or to feel grief, disappointment, or to feel sorrow or worry. It's just going to depend on the elements of you that are primary in your personality. And so within that, we all act or behave uniquely on that fear, the illusion that we can lose ourselves. Fear shows up and plays itself in a different way. The problem is we don't realize that what we're scared of being separated from is us. And we think we place that power on something outside of ourselves. And so that's why I say fear is the illusion of separation, because you can never be separated from yourself. Yourself, that spark of light, of divinity that exists within you. And when we look at the ultimate purpose that we all have, to know thyself, to know the light that is within ourselves, and then to know the light that is in everyone we see, and help them see their light. That's our purpose in this world. We come in believing we're a human body, that we're this personality and our achievements. And our job is to figure out that we're not. We are a divine being having a human experience, and we're exploring and playing in the creativity of doing. But it's the awareness that we are the knower, the one that's experiencing, that is our purpose. Not achieving a corner office, not achieving, the perfect house or a certain income or accolades. Those can all be great, but then what? As opposed to knowing ourselves, the ultimate human experience, to become aware that you're the experiencer. And so how do we start to trust the unknown without fear? Well, first, we can move through this by reframing. So we can reframe fear as a sign of expansion. One of the things I love to ask people, whether that's friends or clients, is I want you to notice what anxiety or anxiousness or fear feels like in your body. So we'll be talking about a current experience. So bring that thought, that experience right into forefront. So if you have something that you're working on right now and you're scared to make a change, I want you to just pause this for a moment, go quiet inside yourself and feel what that fear feels like. What is its texture? What is its taste, its temperature? Where do you feel it in your body? And from where you feel it in your body, does it reverberate out, resonate out into other aspects? Like maybe you feel it at the pit of your stomach, but you can feel it in your skin. So where do you feel this in your body, and what does it feel like? So if you're going to be able to, if somebody was painting it, they could paint it by your explanation. And then now I want you to think about excitement. Maybe you're excited to go on a new trip. You've never been there before. Maybe you're excited to try something new. Maybe you're heading off to university, or you're starting a new job that you've always wanted. And I want you to pause again, and I want you to notice what that feels like in your body. For most of us, excitement and anxiousness feel almost identical. It's the thought or the story that goes with them that changes one into suffering. And that is why they say pain is inevitable and suffering is optional. And that how we're framing our experience is often what is what is causing the suffering. And so fear isn't a stop sign. It's a sign that we're stepping beyond our comfort zone. That's it. Just outside of my comfort zone. I don't know what's going to happen yet. Now, there's ways that we can move through this. So the next time we feel fear, we can ask, is this a sign that I'm growing? The other thing that we can ask ourselves, is this fear or could this be excitement? What else, what other story could I have about what's happening here? If you're doing some of my other work, then maybe you're going to stop and check in with your values and be like, am I feeling fear or anxiousness because I'm not in alignment with my values? And if I am in alignment with my values, then can I reframe this in a different way? Can I change the story that I have? And then two, we can stop asking, what if it goes wrong? I ask this question so often. Oh my gosh, but what if I fail? I asked it so often, it's tattooed on my foot and ankle. along with the reply, "Oh, but my darling, what if you fly?" And I put on my foot so that when I sit in meditation or in yoga, then I see it all the time as a constant reminder to me that it's a choice. How do I want to see this? So our brain will always default to worst case scenarios because it's just trying to protect us. It's not doing anything wrong. It is not bad. It's just a training system. So instead, when that happens, like, oh my gosh, and think like Chicken Little, the sky is falling, the sky is falling. What if it's not? Sometimes we just need one little thing to stop us and make us think, like, what? And so, what if it's not falling? What if everything goes right? What if you succeed? And that, in its question, might be where the fear actually stems from. I just came across this recently in my own life where the idea of succeeding actually was part of my fear. Well, then how will I show up? Then who would I need to be? Then what would people expect from me? How would people treat me? We watch all these people in this world who achieve some level of success in their chosen field, and then people turn on them. All of a sudden, somebody who is being touted as being a great actor is suddenly, any mistake they made in their life is being slammed into the news. So social media makes us a little bit scared of our own success. Might be dangerous. So maybe it's within the success that we feel a certain level of fear or separation. Well, if that happened, then I could lose my friends, my family. I would lose, a following. I would lose my contracts that I have. So just being aware of it, knowledge and awareness are those first steps to these things. And then the third thing that we want to look at is letting go of the illusion of control. Lots of illusions within here. So, how to trust the unknown without fear. So we're reframing, and then we stop asking what if it goes wrong, and we start to shift it into what if it goes right. And then 3, we let go of the illusion of control. It's always an illusion. We never have control. And this even by people that don't have control over themselves. We react versus respond. Vast majority of us do this a vast majority of the time. So we fear uncertainty because we want a guarantee, but the truth is life has never been certain. There are no guarantees. And the sooner that we accept it, the freer we become. You don't like to look at the worst case scenarios, but we know it's true. You could stay in this relationship and the person could leave you, or the person could pass. I could stay in this home and I maybe wouldn't lose it while I stayed in a bad job, but maybe it could burn. There's all sorts of things that can happen. We have no control. We try our best. And once we understand that the fears come from outside of ourselves, and the more that we can come inside of ourselves, then the greater we're able to be present, to just be in this moment instead of being pulled into the unknown future. And that's an important component to this. When we are comparing ourselves to the past, well, that happened and we get stuck. We're being pulled back there. We're dragging the baggage of our previous stories with us. But the other side of this is the anxiety, the anxiousness, the fear of the future, which is always unknown. And the only thing that we're absolutely sure of is this moment, just this one. And that's why we call it a present or a gift, because it's the only thing that's actually real. I can have all sorts of plans for later tonight, tomorrow, next month, and lots of things can happen to change those. And some I would consider by my perceptions as good, and some my perceptions I would perceive as bad. But I won't know until it's the present moment. And so it's only this moment that is really true. Everything else is just an illusion, just a lie, even the past, because the past is always our perception of it, not the truth. And the truth must be agreed upon by everyone. Might be true to me based on my perceived experience, but it might not be true to you. And so it is an illusion. The future is an illusion. Only this moment is true. So can you check in with yourself instead? And so I would say that becomes the biggest check-in. How do we really trust the unknown? How do we do this without fear? By coming home to ourselves, by being present with ourselves. Am I aligned with myself? Am I acting from love? Big question. What are the lineages of love? So they'd be fear, gratitude, excitement, joy, wonder, curiosity. Those are all positive experiences. Clarity, calm, peace. So where am I moving from? So how can I make these decisions? By going inward instead of looking outward. Doesn't mean that we don't care about other people. It doesn't mean that we step on the backs of others. If we're really checking in with ourselves and we're really in integrity with ourselves, we wouldn't do that anyways. Even that's an illusion, that we need to take all these other people into consideration. If you're thinking of the greatest good of all, you're part of that. And so it's okay for us to check in and say, what does Dawn want? What's right for Dawn? And that job that I want to go to might not be, in the long run, a good call. And that's okay. Because just like I changed once, I can change again. I've had multiple careers in my life. And the truth is, I wouldn't take business advice, career advice, life advice from my 15-year-old self. Certainly wouldn't take it from my 18-year-old self or my 21-year-old self. I wouldn't even take it from my 30-year-old self. A little closer at 40, but she can do better. The more we heal, the more we explore ourselves, the more we go inward, the more we rebuild self-trust. We can explore again what was right for me in a career 15, 20 years ago might be not right for who I am today. So maybe I do need a career change, or maybe I just need to change how I'm showing up so that my experience of that career changes. So does the outer world need to change, or do I? A thought for you to ponder today. If this resonated for you, drop me a me in the comments. And what's one transition that you are moving through right now, or that you're exploring or scared to look at? And if you're navigating a major life shift and want some guidance, then pop on over to our community, in our Facebook community, which is the Awaken Circle. You can also always book a free no sales call with me, 15-minute call, and just check in. Maybe there's a couple of questions that you just need to ask and hear and think on. So maybe there's something to explore there. Or if you do want to dive deeper, then I have a couple of different ways that we can work together. And again, you can jump on a call and see if those are right for you. I hope this brought you value today. I hope that you are more open to exploring an intimate relationship with yourself. Thank you so much for joining me today on this journey towards self-sovereignty and holistic healing. Remember, you are your own healer, and every step you take is a step towards empowerment. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up, share it with somebody that you think might need it. And don't forget to subscribe for more insights and more inspiration. I see the light in you, and it is brilliant. Until next time, brightest of blessings.